It was a quiet Thursday evening in late October when 26-year-old Madison Hale sent a text that would haunt everyone who read it. "I think someone's inside the house." At first, it didn't seem like anything serious. Madison lived alone in a quiet neighborhood in Cedar Ridge, Oregon. It was the kind of place where people didn't lock their doors during the day, where nothing ever really happened. But something was happening that night, and by morning, Madison Hale would be gone. Madison was known by her friends as careful, organized, and not easily frightened. She worked as a freelance graphic designer, mostly from home, and kept a small, predictable circle of friends. That's why her message stood out. It wasn't like her to panic. Her best friend, Chloe Bennett, received the message at exactly 9:42 p.m. At first, Chloe thought Madison was joking, but then another text came in. "I hear footsteps upstairs." After that, nothing. Chloe tried calling. No answer. She sent messages. No reply. By midnight, a growing sense of dread pushed her to call the police. When officers arrived at Madison's house, everything seemed normal. The front door was locked. No signs of forced entry. No broken windows. But inside, things felt off. The living room lights were still on. A half-finished cup of tea sat on the coffee table, and Madison's phone was gone. Upstairs, the bedroom door was slightly open. Inside, the bed was untouched. But the closet door was wide open, and one of the officers noticed something strange. There were faint scuff marks on the wooden floor, as if something or someone had been dragged. The investigation began immediately. Detective Aaron Cole took the lead. At first, there were no obvious suspects. No known enemies, no recent arguments, no sign of a break-in. It was as if Madison had simply disappeared. But then neighbors started to talk. One neighbor, Daniel Brooks, reported seeing a man standing near Madison's house earlier that evening. He described him as tall, wearing a dark hoodie, his face partially hidden. Another neighbor mentioned hearing a faint noise around 10 p.m., like something heavy being moved. Police checked security cameras in the area. Most houses didn't have any, but one camera, 2 houses down, caught something. At 9:58 p.m., a figure could be seen walking quickly down the street, carrying something that looked disturbingly like a person. The footage was grainy, but it was enough. Days passed, then weeks. There were no solid leads, until a break came from an unexpected place. Madison's laptop. Forensic analysts recovered recently deleted files. Among them was a series of emails. Emails from someone named Ethan Walker. At first glance, the messages seemed harmless, friendly, casual, but over time the tone changed. They became more intense, more personal, more unsettling. Ethan claimed he and Madison had a connection, but according to her friends, she barely knew him. Detectives tracked Ethan Walker down. He lived just 20 minutes away. When questioned, Ethan denied everything. He said he hadn't seen Madison in months. He claimed the emails were misunderstood, but something didn't add up. A search warrant was issued. Inside Ethan's house, investigators found something chilling. In the basement, hidden behind a false wall, was a small soundproof room. Inside it were personal items that belonged to Madison. Her bracelet, her scarf, and her sketchbook, but Madison herself was nowhere to be found. Ethan was arrested, charged with kidnapping, but without a body. The case remained incomplete. Months later, during a search of nearby woodland, a hiker made a discovery. Shallow ground, disturbed soil. What they found confirmed everyone's worst fears. Madison Hale had been buried less than a mile from her home. The evidence against Ethan became overwhelming. DNA, fibers, digital records. In court, prosecutors revealed the full story. Ethan had become obsessed with Madison, watching her, studying her routine, waiting for the perfect moment. That night, he entered her home, not by force, but with a spare key he had secretly made months earlier. Madison's final message had been real, terrifyingly real. Ethan Walker was found guilty, sentenced to life in prison without parole. But even now, one question lingers. How long had he been watching her? Before she ever noticed? And could it have been stopped? If someone had just seen the signs sooner. Because sometimes, the scariest thing isn't a stranger in the dark. It's someone who's been there all along. Do you think this case could ever be solved? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unsolved mysteries.